What's up, guys? So, in lieu of all of the Vault 7 disclosures and Pizzagate disclosures and these wiretap investigations coming to the forefront, things are just getting crazy. They're getting insane. But I've been coming across a lot of news articles and interesting perspectives that inspired me to make this video to specifically warn you and keep you informed about a possible situation that I think these so-called powers that be, or powers that were, I know some of you want me to use that term, these powers that were want to try and pull. And that is the false flag alien invasion. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and especially if some of you are kind of new to the whole truthing movement, that might sound nuts, but let me outlay this for you and outlay what I'm thinking. So, what's very... I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but what's very important, I don't want to say that word, but it's just unique about me, is that so many people out there in this new media movement are talking about Pizzagate and talking about the corruption of the deep state and all this stuff, but I don't see many people out there actually discussing the extraterrestrial issue in the secret space program, which I have a huge passion for. I love learning me about some free energy and anti-gravity and all the fun science that we've been had hidden from us. Now, I try to also tie that into all the Pizzagate, Pedogate stuff because very important to understand so we do not get duped yet again. Now, what I've come across in the past few days, along with obviously all the Vault 7 and Pizzagate stuff, is news stories in the media about many different things in regards to disclosing the extraterrestrial presence. One I saw on The Independent just yesterday stating that, and the headline of the article went something like, life is now more likely than ever to exist on Mars, or something like that. And keep in mind, this was not in a tabloid mainstream media outlet like Express or The Sun or whatever. This was on The Independent. So they want you to take this very seriously. Not only that, but I've had actually multiple people, and this is kind of what spurred me to do this video, is the synchronicity of it all, but multiple people send me stories about the International Space Station cutting the feed when a giant UFO entered the picture. And this was on multiple, again, very serious mainstream news outlets. One was on Yahoo, there was a couple other ones. So what I think is occurring is that because all of these other revelations like Pedogate and Vault 7 are blowing up, the shadow government, the cabal, the deep state, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, they are prepping the mass consciousness to pull what is called a false flag alien disclosure, or a partial disclosure. Basically, what that means is that they're going to try to disclose the extraterrestrial presence and disclose a lot of grand shit to humanity to completely sweep them off their feet and make them totally forget about the Pizzagate and Pedogate and everything else that's coming to the forefront. So they basically want, right, the people are on their trail with their Molotov cocktails and their pitchforks, and they want to distract everybody off their trail. Now, for decades, right, what a lot of whistleblowers have been discussing is what's called Project Bluebeam. Now, I know you people watching this video are going to be really happy I say that. So let me tell you guys who don't know what Project Bluebeam is, I'm going to tell you what it is. Project Bluebeam was essentially a operation by which what would occur is that there would be a giant holographic image projected up into the sky or up into space of either actually a religious figure or alien figures, and thus it would cause such a hysteria, and right, you get order out of chaos, remember that, order out of chaos, that the shadow government would then try to unite the world under their one world government they've always wanted with that giant holographic image in the sky. Now, Wernher von Braun has been warning us about this for decades, so it's a very serious issue that very important people have discussed. I'm not talking some crazy conspiracy talk about a holographic image in the sky. Wernher von Braun himself, which was the German rocket scientist that came over here that invented the V2 rocket, has been warning us about it. He said that alien false flag card would be the last one. that the deep state would play. After they exhausted the commie card, which they did decades ago, after they exhausted their terrorist card that they're doing right now, people are getting, they're waking up to what ISIS really is. They're going to try to pull that alien false flag. And his understudy, Dr. Carol Rosen, she's been trying to warn the public about it for years as well. Dr. Stephen Greer at the Disclosure Project and many other secret space program whistleblowers have all been telling us about Project Bluebeam and to be warned about this false flag alien invasion. Now, I just went on that long tirade to tell you that I don't think Project Bluebeam is going to work. I think enough people know about it, where Project Bluebeam is not going to work, but here's the thing, and this is where Antarctica enters the picture, and why I always talk about Antarctica so much is because since they can't pull Project Bluebeam anymore, in my opinion, that avenue of duping the public is exhausted. Now they're going to want to try and pull Antarctica as their partial disclosure. So what they're going to try and do, what they've been prepping to do, is you disclose ancient civilizations from under the ice in Antarctica and completely sweep America, humanity, off their feet and go, oh my God, right? All this stuff is real, UFOs, disclosure. But what they're going to do is only reveal a piece of the puzzle, right? So if this happens, be very aware of what you hear. And this is why it's very important to not only brush yourself up on all the Pizzagate stuff, which most people are, which is good, but also brush yourself up on the secret space program side of things and all of that whole issue that we haven't been told, because we don't want to be duped by a partial disclosure. If they tell us about Antarctica, are they going to tell us that the Nazis have had secret bases down there for over 100 years? Who knows? Are they going to tell us that how many whistleblowers have come out describing the relationships that our government has very well had with extraterrestrial civilizations for decades, right? Are they going to tell us about the $10+ trillion that they've swiped from America to build out these black projects, these unacknowledged projects, right? That's why it's so important to brush yourself up on all of what's really going on, because there's so much shit they might not tell us if they were to pull this disclosure, this partial disclosure, a controlled disclosure, or a sanitized disclosure. We can't let them do that. We have to, one, still shout from the rooftops about the pedophile, Pizzagate, human trafficking stuff, because that's their Achilles heel. That's what they don't want realized. But on the other hand, we must brush ourselves up as well, not only with the Pizzagate stuff, but with everything associated with our true history, the history we've been denied, the science we've been denied, the secret space program that we have had hidden from us. There's so much more relearning we have to do. So that's why I wanted to make this video, is because of all of the news stories I've seen in the mainstream media just the past couple days, really trying to prep the mass consciousness for a large disclosure, which is what I think they're trying to do. And when this large disclosure does take place, we need to really have our bullshit meters, our bullshit detectors tuned so we don't get swept up by some type of controlled disclosure where the powers that be might give us a little piece of the pie. They might disclose a little bit of truth, but they're still going to retain a lot of it, and they're still going to make an effort to keep their power, which we can't let them have. Full disclosure is the only option, and it will only come if we ourselves work for it. So everybody in this media circle, right? Don't be afraid to say anything. Don't be afraid to speak on the Pizzagate issue, which a lot of people aren't, because that's kind of obvious. But don't be afraid to talk about aliens. Don't be afraid to talk about UFOs, because there's so much going on this planet that we need to brush ourselves up with the perspective on. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. And thank you guys for subscribing to this channel, for sharing my work, and for contributing in all the ways that you have. Take care.